Hello and welcome. I'm a hotel AI expert, and I'm really pleased to welcome all of you, the students of the Europe Hotel School, to this part of your online learning journey. Now, if you're building a career in hospitality, your passion is probably creating those incredible guest experiences, right? But what about the risks you can't see? Today, we're going to dive into a critical part of hotel finance that's being completely transformed by AI, and it's something every single future leader absolutely needs to master.
So, let's start with a question for you. What do you think is a hotel's biggest hidden financial risk? I'll give you a hint. It's not empty rooms or the cost of food in the restaurant. Nope. It's a silent, unbelievably complex process that's running in the background of every single transaction. Let's pull back the curtain and take a closer look.
And the answer to that question? It's the huge and often way underestimated burden of tax compliance. You know, we all work so hard to make the guest stay feel seamless and simple, but behind the scenes, there's this tangled web of financial regulations that demands nothing less than perfection.
I mean, just think about what goes into a single hotel bill. It's never just one simple number. You could be dealing with local occupancy taxes, state sales taxes, maybe a value-added tax, and these often overlap across different jurisdictions. Now just imagine asking your team to calculate all of that perfectly by hand for hundreds of guests, day in and day out. You can see how fast this turns into a massive operational headache.
You know, in the past, a hotel might have just relied on static tax tables that were loaded into a system and that was it. But here's the thing. Tax laws can and do change overnight. That old way of doing things, it's now a recipe for disaster. It's just not a responsible way to manage such a critical part of the business anymore.
And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. When we talk about tax compliance, accuracy isn't just some goal you aim for. It is an absolute, non-negotiable necessity. Because even the tiniest error can have massive consequences for the hotel. And check this out. The risk cuts both ways. You're really caught between a rock and a hard place. If you undercalculate the tax, you're opening yourself up to enormous fines and a very painful government audit. But if you overcalculate, well, suddenly your pricing isn't competitive, and you could even be sued by an overcharged guest. There's just no good outcome if you get it wrong. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this first part, it's this. Tax compliance is a zero-error game. There's no margin for error. None. As a future leader in this industry, you have to burn this principle into your brain. The standard is, and always will be, absolute perfection.
So, how in the world do we solve this incredibly high-risk challenge? Well, the answer, as is so often the case these days, lies in technology. We are now in the era of the AI-powered tax engine, the modern automated solution built specifically to handle this problem.
So let's be really clear about what we're talking about here. An AI tax engine. Well, it's an automated system that literally plugs right into your hotel's software. It's built to manage the whole tax process, from calculating what's owed, to filing the paperwork, to paying the authorities, and it does it all in real time, using the most up-to-date laws for any location on Earth.
And it's so important to get this. This technology goes way, way beyond just being a fancy calculator. We're talking about automating the entire compliance workflow, from the second a guest makes a purchase to the moment the tax payment is sent off to the government.
Okay, so here's how it works, broken down into 4 pretty simple steps. First, the engine connects right into the systems you already use, like your PMS and your point-of-sale systems. The second a charge gets posted, boom, it instantly calculates the exact tax. Now, here's the real magic. The AI is constantly updating itself with every little change in tax law, so your team doesn't have to. And finally, it handles all the filing and the payments automatically. It's a completely seamless process that all but eliminates the risk of human error. And this becomes so critical in really complex areas like banquets and events. I mean, the tax rules for a service charge versus a tip can be wildly different from one city to the next. An AI engine knows all of those little nuances instantly, which means you're compliant, even on the most complicated event bills.
All right, so that's the tech. But what does it all mean for the business? What's the real-world impact? Well, automating your tax compliance isn't just about dodging fines, it's about actively protecting your hotel's financial future and making your whole operation smarter.
The strategic benefits are just huge. Right away, you're cutting down the administrative workload on your finance team. If a tax inspector ever walks in, you have a perfect audit trail ready to go in seconds.
This protects your brand's reputation, it safeguards the money in your bank account, and, maybe most importantly of all, it frees up your leaders to focus on what really matters, delivering amazing hospitality. And at the end of the day, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? This technology is designed to take care of all that complex, high-risk work humming along in the background so that you and your teams can pour all your energy and passion into what you do best, creating unforgettable guest experiences, not trying to become tax law experts. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. As you get ready to become the next generation of leaders in this incredible industry, you have to ask yourself a serious question. In an age where this kind of technology exists, is relying on outdated, high-risk, manual processes still a responsible choice for your hotel, for your team, and for your guests?